I don't listen to
Right.
him now because I can't take Kanye West right now. But maybe like 10 years from now, I'll probably pop it in. You know what I mean? But saying that you're not going to listen to somebody who thinks Hitler is cool, you know what? That's healthy.
Call me old man Wade.
Damn you, old man!
Wait.
Old ass man.
Shut up, old man. You smell like fart.
No, man.
Old man.
He's so old, he got a podcast on cassette.
Fuck, you're old.
Damn it, Wade.
So let me ask you all a question.
Yes, sir.
Who was the first person to eat pussy, and how did they do it?
Adam,
You think Adam was the first person to eat pussy?
you think that apple was an apple? Seriously.
Bro,
Bro, the first species that had a dick in the vagina, they was out there licking cooch. Bro, are you serious? Like I man, why not? Like, why not? You know, like it's gonna sound horrible. It's delicious, bro.
why is it horrible? Like the three of us, man. Like it's just. I was thinking about it today. I was listening to the show when they were talking about the first person to do this and the first person to do that. So I hit up Pandagasms and we're chatting, and I'm randomly like, "Yo, who was the first person to eat pussy?" And we both just busted out laughing about the conversation, like how it went, and like who went down first. Like, did Adam go down first, or did Eve go down first? And then when Adam really loved it, she went back up and then pushed his head back down.
So what happened, right? So he did it. They got kicked out the garden. So he initiated, got kicked out the garden. And then he was like, yo, Eve, bro, you got us in trouble. Come on. You got to hook a brother up.
Wouldn't have Adam asked to receive instead of give? Adam doesn't come across to me as someone who is an equal opportunity giver.
Yeah, I'm with Brandon here, especially considering depending on what religion you follow, he wasn't the first. It was Lilith.
I don't know. Yeah, this is way too much religion talk for my atheist ass. I don't believe in none of it anyways. Yeah, I just think it's there. The first person who did it was a genius.
Exactly.
You know, was a genius, and thank God that he or she came up with the concept of cunnilingus, because my life is a lot better now because of it. Thank you.
All right. Something. So let's get into this. Javi, you'll find a way to, I guess, get into this. Brandon, what were your thoughts on the Royal Rumble?
I thought that it was. I thought that.
Do you want me to go first? Because I will.
No, I thought that the show was long as hell.
Yep.
And I thought that the Royal Rumble men's match was pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. The ending was great. I really enjoyed the last two. I thought the women's match was mostly boring until the end.
I agree.
And I thought the end was really good. And
I agree.
I picked both winners without having to pick 7 people.
Oh, shut up.
So there's that. Both of them on one pick because, that's how it's supposed to be done. And then ultimately, like I told you, the Roman Reigns bloodline storyline is the best storyline in wrestling, not wrestling, but in WWE history, along with McMahon versus Austin. And the only reason McMahon versus Austin is better is because it made more money. It was just a bigger thing. Because it really changed the business. I mean, they were getting their ass kicked by WCW, and it literally changed the course of wrestling history. So that's why that's the biggest, and I don't think anything will ever touch that. But this is, in WWF history, the second greatest storyline in the history of the company. And that angle that they shot after the match is one of the, 2 or 3 greatest angles they've ever done in the history of the company. And it's like a movie.
And it's Jey Uso that's been on the fence, right? It's
Well, no. Jey Uso Jey Uso's the one who didn't trust Sammy. And then at Hell in a Cell, I mean, that at War Games, he finally trusted Sammy. Because Sammy took out Kevin Owens and they hugged. And it was like, yes, I finally trust you. And then they've been close. And then last week at the trial, Jey Uso was the one who defended Sammy
Yeah.
by showing him taking the bullet for them all this time. And
Yeah.
so this week, they were beating his ass. They were beating Kevin's ass. And Sammy's just like, yo, this is enough. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then Jay, that was the twist. Everybody kind of knew this was going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
It's just how they were going to do it. But what people did not know was how Jay was going to react, which
also
makes perfect sense. So let me say this really quick because I know we got other stuff on the docket. This is what I think is going to happen, old man. I think Sami Zayn is going to challenge Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber next month. Why? In case you didn't know this, Elimination Chamber is the first pay-per-view in 10 years in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, which is Sami Zayn's hometown.
Yeah.
And Kevin Owens' hometown. They're both from Montreal. I think Sami Zayn is going to challenge Roman Reigns in Montreal. I think Jey Uso is going to have to make a decision in that match on what to do. Because here's the thing, really quick. Cody Rhodes won the Rumble, but all everybody wants to see is Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn. That's all anybody wants to see at this point. That's the dominant storyline, right?
Yes.
So in order for Cody Rhodes not to get Randy Orton and Blue Tista, where he gets overrun by Daniel Bryan, like that happened a few years ago, you got to get the heat off of them too. So you got to do that match first. But in order for people not to get too mad, what you got to do is have Jay get involved, have to make a decision. He ultimately decides with Roman, costs Sammy the match. Then they start to beat down with the Usos beating down Sami Zayn. And then Kevin Owens comes out to save Zayn. They rekindle their friendship in Montreal. They fight the Usos off. And then you transfer that heat into the Usos versus Sammy and Kevin at WrestleMania for the unified tag belts. That's what is going to happen.
You get no argument here. I don't think they have to do a match between Roman and Sami Zayn. Everything you're saying makes sense to me, especially because it's in Montreal, which I didn't know, which was, if this is what happens, it's great booking, it's intelligent booking. It's also fantastic storytelling, especially because everybody knew where this was going. So this was one of the things that Vince got right and wrong all at once. Vince is right in a sense where sometimes he's like, fans don't know what they want, but he's also right when he says, but Triple H is right when he says, give the fans what they want. So they've been building towards this. Sami Zayn is a top tier performer. He's on the Jericho level where he can make anybody look good because that's just who Sami Zayn is. Roman Reigns, as we talked about in the previous episode, can make anybody look good. So the two of them together, I think this is going to be fantastic. One of my favorite things about this rivalry is it's going into real life. Jey Uso posted on his Instagram him walking away with his hands in his head, and the caption just said, "I'm done." And I was like, word? We're really going there. Cool. Moving on from the bloodline stuff, I'm just going to go quickly through this. I have some moments that happened and just say like it or love it and quickly tell me why you did or you didn't. And let's start. Nia Jax, like it or love it.
No.
Well, excuse me, love it or hate it. Excuse me, love it or hate it.
I don't have an opinion. I don't care.
Chelsea Green.
Wait. I love Nia Jax. That's it.
Okay. Chelsea Green.
I don't know anything about her. So,
Does she look like Nia Jax?
Not even a little bit. She's the antithesis of Nia Jax.
I don't like her.
Fuck, I just had it in my head. Asuka coming out as Kana.
Well, she was still Asuka. She just had that look a little bit, which I loved. I mean, I love Asuka. She got the biggest pop in the women's match.
All right, so I'm not bugging that. Like when she took her mask off. Well, is it me? I've been saying this for a while, but I think Asuka's one of the top in the top like 2% in the WWE in terms of like popularity, pop, and like in ring performance. Like I don't know if anybody has more fun than Asuka, which brings me to the next thing. Brock Lesnar throwing a tantrum while smiling after being eliminated.
That was fun, Chad. That whole 5 minutes. All I said was I want to see Brock Lesnar versus Lashley versus Gunther at WrestleMania. Please give me that. Shoot that into my veins.
Yeah, Gunther was Gunther the MVP of the Men's Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, I mean Gunther's incredible. He's one of my favorite wrestlers.
He's a throwback to just what wrestling used to be. Opinion that one of my favorite people in the world said he called Lacey Evans Vince McMahon's wet dream.
Yes, that is Lacey Evans, 100%.
And I commented saying she's Hulk Hogan with titties. Except Hulk Hogan.
No, Hulk Hogan is way more charismatic than her. That's the problem. She has no charisma.
Yeah,
That's the whole problem with her. She's boring as fuck. Hulk Hogan, you can say what you want about Terry the person, but Hulk Hogan the character was charismatic out the fucking world.
Also, I think that can apply to any woman that works for Vince McMahon.
Not true, because there are a lot of really charismatic women in the WWE.
No, I'm sorry. I was a little late. I was talking about Vince McMahon's wet dream.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Probably not Piper Nivens. I don't think that's Vince's taste.
Oh, not even a little bit. It's my taste though. What would you? Okay, there's Alexa Bliss should never fight Bianca Belair ever again.
Yes, that was a complete waste of time. Shouldn't even been on the show.
Yeah, that was that, and I hate to say it like this. That should have been on a pre-show. They wasted too much time on a pre-show. That should have been there. And as much as I love Bianca Belair, and she doesn't deserve to be on the pre-show, she should be main eventing and shit like that. That was just a waste of fucking time.
Just don't have a match. Charlotte didn't have a match. She didn't have to have a match.
Yeah.
This should have been a 3-match show. Both Rumbles in the Bloodline in the Roman Reigns match.
Okay. Last but not least, who does Rhea Ripley fight? Does she go for Charlotte or does she go out to Bianca Belair? I'm gonna go on
record.
Trying
to make Charlotte a babyface, which is weird. I would personally like to see it be Bianca because those are the two best athletes in the women division. I'd love to see that. But I think they're going to do Charlotte.
I think that it's going to be Asuka versus Charlotte because Asuka owes her a receipt from that WrestleMania, and I think Asuka wins the title at Royal Rumble. I think that's why Charlotte has the belt, and I think we're gonna get Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, and Bianca Belair loses the title to Rhea Ripley, which I'm okay with because she's had a hell of a run. All right, Super Woke.
Sorry, I had some technical difficulties. I couldn't hit the mute button fast enough. We're good.
Yeah, what do you got for us, man? What's going on in the world of politics right now? What's something we should know about? I know this wasn't on.
Jeez.
I know this wasn't on the topic, but we had a whole segment. Me and Brandon had a segment, and I like when you and Brandon talk politics. So, what's going on in the world that people need to know about?
There's a lot going on right now. I think the most relevant to us at the moment, you know what? I wouldn't even say the world. I'm talking about what happened recently to the young man that was brutally murdered by the cops.
Oh God, yeah.
I forgot his name. Give me 1 second.
Tyre Nichols.
Yeah, Tyre Nichols. Sorry. It's sad that this stuff happens so much that the names get all mixed up. It's a couple of things that I think are relevant to a political discussion. The fact that the cops involved weren't white, which if you grew up in some of these neighborhoods, most of the cops are black. A lot of the cops are black, and they're no better than the white ones. So, a lot of people are talking about, this isn't a race issue, or whatever, but it's always a race issue. It doesn't matter who's doing it. It's systemic, which means that
anti-blackness is not just for white people.
it's systemic, bro. It's just that we all fall victim to it in some way or another. I think at this point, we're starting to see, at least in this instance, what some of those reforms, some of those local reforms have done to kind of mitigate um, the fallout from these events. So one thing that stood out was that these cops, in quick fashion, were arrested, were charged, they were given bail, which I think is, strange given the
Well,
type of
I
crime.
looked. I actually thought the same thing, Javi. I looked it up, and it's pretty commonplace for second degree murder to get
Okay,
somewhere between like 250 and $500,000 bail.
yeah, and they're cops, and as we know, a lot of cops make decent money, so I'm pretty sure they can at least make bond. Um,
Oh yeah, they're fine.
yeah, so but the fact that that happened, that's a direct result to some of the reforms implemented because of the exposure that these events have caused. And I remember the political discussion. A lot of cops and Republicans were saying that you shouldn't do this. It's going to make crime worse. Blah 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 blah. When in actuality, we're seeing that it's actually causing cops to become we're actually seeing this put bad cops in the spotlight. And as you can see, there really wasn't any violence in the street afterwards because people saw the swift justice take place, which could be even swifter. I think moving forward, this conversation hasn't happened yet, but I'm hoping that we start seeing more of these reforms implemented on a federal level.
Mhm.
It's going to be hard given the composition of government right now. It's a split Congress, but even Republicans. I was watching Fox News, and even they couldn't. Even they were disgusted by it.
Well,
So
they
Well,
were looking for the
yeah,
opportunity to do it
yeah,
because it was black people.
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. But I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't
I
care
don't
either.
care. I don't care as long as shit changes, bro. Like, you
I
know,
don't
it,
care.
All right, so
and people, yeah,
I'm gonna say this. It kind of annoys me that a lot of change and things happen off of the backs of black people and things like this because like this is one of those things where it's like it was changed because of what happened in 2023 and black cops are going to be the poster child for things like this. And that's not to say that black cops don't do anything like this, and I'm not disqualifying or apologetic because you do some shit like this, you're a terrible human being and you deserve everything you get and more. However, Fox News chastising or being more aggressive about this, we know what it is. We know it's because these people, and I use that term loosely, were black. And I'm not going to be shocked when I start hearing more black on black crime, which for the record isn't a thing. It's just fucking crime. There's no such thing as white on white crime. So miss me with that shit.
But here's the thing: this task force. So the police chief is a black woman who used to be a police chief in Atlanta, and they had a similar task force called Red Dogs that got disbanded because they were beating the shit out of people, and it was a problem. And so she came to Memphis and she instituted this police task force called Scorpion, which stands for Street Crimes Operation to Restore Peace in Our Neighborhoods. So essentially,
so
the
Scorpion sounds like a very peaceful creature.
so the idea, the quote unquote idea of it was that it would be a task force of people who are from the neighborhood to police their neighborhoods. Like that's the larger proposition of that, and they would focus on, you know, quote unquote neighborhood crime, thefts, gang related activity, drugs, etc. But my thing is like you already knew it didn't work. You brought it here. Now, Memphis, we had a crime spike a couple years ago, just like everywhere else in the country, because we were in a pandemic, and so crime rose everywhere. And so they came in, they did this, they instituted this thing. And my whole thing is like, at what point do people start realizing that, like, when this things don't work someplace, it's probably not going to work another place.
Bro, I
Yeah.
Brand, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you've had to deal with these plain clothes gang enforcement units. But I'm almost 40 and I remember dealing with these dudes in high school. Like my first, and this is part of the problem. Like and I remember this story like as yesterday, bro. And this is not the only one. But me and my boys coming from school. I admit some people I hung out with weren't the best people in the world, right? But I can tell you for a fact, ain't shit was going on, and we're just coming off the train, and I get tossed into the wall, like my wind gets like I get the wind knocked out of me almost, right? And I look, and it's this short white dude, plain clothes, like look like a normal dude. I'm like, who the y'all about to go in? And then he flashes a badge, right? And then I see all his people around him. And then they ask you, like, where are you going? Blah, 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 blah. Like very aggressively. They like that that's how it starts with these guys. They come in ready to fight, ready to go, bro. Like, if that's policing, I don't know, man. Like those all those units just need to go. They need to go in
And
my
they
opinion.
disbanded this one, but I'm just
Yeah.
like, you know, I my thing is, the like I always tell you guys when we have these conversations, I like to call myself a practical progressive because I believe in almost all progressive, not all of them, but almost all progressive positions. Except I understand that I live in the real world and I'm not delusional. And I understand how the world works and how people function. And so a lot of these things come because the people in the neighborhoods are actually tired of crime. Like I got so sick of people talking about the crime bill from the 90s without any context of how the crime bill came into effect.
Yo,
Like
I avoid
they
those conversations like the plague because it pisses me off. And I'm gonna tell you something. Let me tell you, and yo, I love my white people. Like I love y'all. I love y'all, man. Like yo, some of y'all, a lot of y'all are great. But when I hear like white progressives that grew up in the suburbs talking about we need to get rid of all policing and all this other stuff, like I get what you're trying to say, and I get it's coming
a
from
good
a good
place.
place,
Most places. Yeah.
but you don't live in these neighborhoods.
Exactly. And so I understand, like I completely understand, and it's not just white progressives, but it's particularly weird when it comes to white progressives. But I
Mhm. Yeah,
understand
yeah, yeah.
like the
Yep.
idea, like in a vacuum, the idea of prevention over, you know, consequences, like getting better housing, getting better work programs, distributing wealth better, having more opportunities for people would lead to less crime. Obviously, that's all been proven true, right? It's all been proven true that crime is most directly tied to poverty. Like we all know that. That's true. Okay, but a lot of those things, even if we were to get buy-in from politicians to implement those things, are going to affect like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, like generations going forward. It's something that has to be built over time in a society that people grow up in that, and they grow up in that environment that would prevent these outcomes from happening. But what the people in these neighborhoods are saying is, I get that, I want that, I support all of those things, and I want all those changes to happen. But there's crime happening right now. I live in these neighborhoods right now, and those changes aren't going to change the people who have already come up in the unjust world that's created the outcomes that they exist in today. So, what are we going to do about that? And so, what happens is the politicians and the white people take advantage of the black people and the people who live in those neighborhoods, desperate for help to implement these anti-black policies that then go and lead to these outcomes because the police feel like they have the authority and the green light to beat shit out of people to quote unquote stop crime. But
Hundred
all those
percent,
things are
bro.
connected.
100%. 100%. I
All those
can't.
things are connected, and
Yeah.
people jump to the end game. And I'm like, and I'm with you, and that's why I call myself a practical progressive because the policies are 100% correct. Those are the things that we should be doing to prevent these outcomes from happening. And those are the things that do prevent crime. But that doesn't stop the crime that's already existing. That doesn't stop the people that's already been created by the bad system that's been in place since America started. Right. And so I understand why the people living in those neighborhoods want something done now, but hey, man, can we stop with the special task units? Like, have those ever been successful anywhere where they're not just beating the shit out of people? Like, has that ever happened when they're beating
Yo,
the shit out of people?
yo, no, not to say too much, but like some of these gang units, some of the people on these gang units, bro, they're just as bad, bro, as the people they're trying to fight. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like it's bad, bro. These are gangsters, bro, with the right to kill.
Yes, exactly. And the difference between them is, yeah, that's what I was about to say. They have the right to do it. Like, and here's the thing. Guess what? If these units were actually, and the ultimate problem is the end this is, at least from my point, is they're not good at their jobs. That's like, if these units were actually good at their jobs, and they were just beating the shit out of like murderers and rapists and actual menaces to society, I don't think people would have much of a problem with it. The problem is they think all of us are those people. And so there's no
Yeah.
differentiation between it. So they just end up beating the shit out of black people and brown
Yeah.
people.
And a lot of
And
people, I
that's
think
the problem.
they watch too much like Law and Order and stuff like that. Again, if you come from these neighborhoods, you know for a fact that the vast majority of these murders, robberies, rapes go unsolved in these neighborhoods.
Hmm. They don't solve anything.
They don't solve anything. People out here, there's murderers out here just walking around,
And if they were
chilling.
taking down those people,
Yeah.
there wouldn't be people upset. No one would be like, "Oh, you shot this person who was about to murder someone." I've never seen a protest. I've never seen a single protest anywhere in the country where they're protesting the cops shooting someone who was about to shoot someone. That's never happened, right? But the problem is they're shooting people who are just going about their business. They're beating the shit out of people who are just driving home. And
100%.
they're checking people, like you said, getting off the train for no fucking
Mm-hmm.
reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just
They're
gonna
not
cut it
even good
short.
at the job.
I'm just
Matter
gonna
of
cut
fact,
it short
they
only
dealing
because
with me.
yo, Javi,
Oh, God,
Javi,
sorry.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna cut it short only because it's 12:59. I know Brandon's gotta go.
Yeah.
Brandon, real quick, tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at that cool black nerd. Um, you can find. I'm going to be reviewing The Last of Us on. I think it's called the We Was Dragons podcast, but we're about to change the name. Me and my homegirl Chanel to
I'm
We
just
Was
gonna go for
Watching.
record by saying that you guys should not change the name only because We Was Dragons is so fucking good and I don't want anybody else to take it. I honestly feel that you guys should keep it like that and then just change the description because it's perfect and y'all are great.
But we want to review other stuff, so we were thinking we was going to
Well,
call it
that
We Was Watching, and then every show was going to be a We Was play on.
well then
Fire.
make it like a what if, like we was.
Yeah.
We was TV. We was entertainment.
I actually think that's a pretty good idea. So yeah, we're about to do The Last of Us. We're doing them in batches of 3. So episode 3 just came out last night. So our first review episode is going to be out sometime this week. Then we're going to do the next 3 and the next 3 like that because it's only 9 episodes. And then after that, we're doing the greatest show on television, which is Succession.
Yeah, I've heard about how great it is, but I just feel like that's gonna be one of those shows where all I'm gonna do is just get upset. So I'm gonna pass.
Greatest show.
No, it's
Greatest
not
show.
like that. It's a dark comedy. It's not a.
Isn't that the show you said is like the whitest thing ever?
Oh, it's super white.
Oh, hold on. My meeting got canceled.
Huh?
Oh.
What got
I think
canceled?
my meeting got canceled.
Oh.
Oh, damn.
I don't see it on my calendar anymore.
Well, I'm probably gonna have to go in the next like 10 minutes, but I'll stick around.
All right, we can keep moving for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Before we Javi,
Sorry for making you have to edit.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah. We're not gonna have to edit that because it's not that serious because we still
Yeah.
can find you.
Oh, and I've been listening. And yo, congrats, the editing is pretty good, old man.
I appreciate it, but I also
Yeah.
this is one of those things where I learned from you talking about like, hey, sit back and listen to it, like delete some time, add some edits, and like throwing in a damn it Wade in between like things that I know we shouldn't say.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun, but also props to y'all. Y'all make it really easy for me to edit when the conversation's consistent, and even when we need to edit something, you're like, you pause, you think like, all right, I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm like, all right, let me get this, let me get this shit ready.
Yeah. But what were we talking about?
Super Bowl. Before we go, Super Bowl, where can they find you?
Be Rebel Media on Instagram. Actually, I'm gonna try if I've been away. I'm gonna be in Florida again this weekend. But I'm gonna try to start adding some more content to the Old Man Wade Show Facebook page along with the Old Man. So find me there as well.
Yes, sir. I've said it before. Y'all can find the Old Man Wade Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. That's pretty much where you can find me. I'm also on Bam_Smack_Pow on Instagram, where I'm posting all sorts of random nonsense and fun stuff and comic book related things. And just so you know, the Old Man Wade on Instagram is essentially comic book shit and thirst traps. That's all I do. That's it. That's what you're getting from me. That's really all I care about, because honestly, I don't give a fuck about a lot of stuff. I talked about it on the previous episode because honestly, I don't give a fuck what Kanye West is doing. He can suck a bag of dicks. Oh, so funny story about Kanye West. I was having a conversation with my therapist, and one of the things he said to me was he wants me to start getting rid of all the rocks that I'm carrying because I don't need to.
Yes.
So I was telling him like he was asking me like, what are some artists that you refuse to listen to? And I was like Bill Cosby, R. Kelly. I was like, I had to delete Mystical. He was like Kanye West, and he was like, all right. He goes, he understood all of them. He goes, why did you delete Kanye West? And I explained to him a lot of it has to do with just the George Floyd stuff, like him saying, I too understand what it's like to have a knee on my neck. And I'm like, this is a nutty nigga, man. And I was like, he's a nutty nigga, and he's just the worst. And went on, and he was like, but does your one download matter? And he was like, he goes, it's different when you have the other three people that I mentioned, because it's like, like people have already like, it can start momentum if I start listening. He was just like, he's like, do you care enough? And I was like, I do. He goes, do you though? I go, I do. He goes, but you're vehemently against what he said. He goes, you have a show chastising what he said. Have you done? I go, I have. He goes, then fucking re-download it. So I re-downloaded some Kanye West shit. Long story short.
So when you say you stopped listening to Kanye, even College Dropout Kanye, you stopped listening to?
All this shit. I deleted all this shit off. Fucking.
Cool.
I understand both sides of that. That's like the argument. The reason that rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, not that it's not good advice, but just in this particular instance, because it's kind of like the argument that people make about voting, where it's like, it's just one vote. There's 20, there's 100 million people that vote. Your one vote doesn't make a difference. There's no election that loses by one vote.
Yeah. But he also was saying to me that, like, he goes, stand strong in what you believe in. He goes, but if you're kind of on the fence about it, and he goes, then like,
Oh yeah. Because
that's what he was
agree.
saying. Because I was on the fence about it. Like I was still kind of like, And he was just like, but he goes, the three people you named before him are rapists. And he was just like, he goes, Kanye West is just an idiot. And I'm not. And he also says that Kanye West is not bipolar. He believes he's full-fledged a narcissist.
Kanye West is also a racist.
Yeah, he is a racist.
He's a racist.
He's absolutely,
There's a lot wrong with Kanye West. and I think a lot of it does come from undiagnosed trauma or diagnosed trauma, but that doesn't excuse the things that he says in public. Right?
So,
listen, I don't think I'll ever stop listening to College Dropout and My Twisted Dark Fantasy. Like some of I don't listen to him now because I can't take Kanye West right now. But maybe like 10 years from now, I'll probably pop it in. You know what I mean? But saying that you're not going to listen to somebody who thinks Hitler is cool, you know what? That's healthy.
Particularly when you don't know that he's not going to rap about that at this point.
Yeah. Like
who knows what he's going to rap about in his next song?
Yeah, I think it's a good reason.
Like College Dropout, I agree with Javi 1,000%. It's different than R. Kelly in the sense that I don't like. I try to not judge people on like I'm going to boycott this, I'm going to boycott that. But I absolutely judge people who still listen to R. Kelly because my thing on that is he's literally singing about little girls. Like
Yeah, yeah,
he's literally
yeah,
singing about little girls. What are you gonna tell me? You just play I believe I can fly the loop? Like, is that what you're doing?
yeah, yeah,
No,
We
you're
also
yeah.
not. So at some point you're listening to him sexualize and get off and try to get you off or get you and your girl and you and your spouse, other significant other off on his attraction to little
Yeah,
girls.
yeah, yeah. Horrible.
yeah, like, and we've had the conversation about Mystikal's always been a nasty piece of shit. So
Yeah, yeah.
Avi, before you go, can we do that one topic on the docket? I think that was pretty funny
Which one was it?
about why people are uncomfortable seeing dicks on the screen. Can we do that, old man?
Yeah,
I couldn't wait to talk. Yo, let me tell. No, hold on. Before y'all get into it, let me just say, I am one of those people. I want to see. If I don't know you personally, I want to see all nudity. I have seen. If it's on there, I've seen it. I've seen your dick. I've seen your vagina. It is what it is. Just call me toxic. Call me whatever you want to call it. But I want to see all nudity. I watch girl on girl porn. I watch mostly man on woman porn because it wasn't up until like maybe like 5 or 6 years ago where I've seen like consistently good girl on girl porn. So I just kind of stayed away from it. But it's got really good recently. Some I'm all in on it. But mostly my porn is girl on woman. It is what it is. So, but I know certain people on here who will remain nameless don't like dicks in their porn.
I didn't say I don't like dicks in my porn, but I'm just saying, you know what? I've been watching a couple of like trans women and women porn,
I watched some of that too.
which has been
it's pretty fucking good.
super dope because it's like the best of both worlds almost. It's like I don't got to see some hairy dude, right? It's two like women,
Yeah.
whatever. You feel what I'm saying? So I guess I don't have a problem to a certain extent, but I don't know, bro. It's something about like some of the angles where you just see like up a dude's butthole. Like I don't want.
I hate that angle. That is the worst.
I'm in the middle of doing something here, buddy. You just
But you
ruined
know
it.
what's interesting? You know what's interesting about that point? I don't think heterosexual women like that angle either. Because my whole thing about this conversation was the reason why, part of it is sexism, right? And misogyny, right? The idea that we sexualize women and, we don't want to do that with men. But a large part of it is penises aren't attractive. They're just
At
like,
least, yeah, man.
in most cases, And so, unless you really want to see the person, like I remember watching them and seeing the women on Twitter going crazy, where they had what's his face's Blue Man's dick on Watchmen, right? But look at that dude. Of course, they want to see him, right? But like, they also weren't all up on some weird ass angle of it either, right? And so, I think it's this thing where women are much more sophisticated than us, and so they are in a position where they're just like, oh, yeah, I mean, I kind of want to see it. I want to see if it's big, but like, they're not judging it in the way that we judge like women's breasts, right? Oh,
Mm.
how big are
Yeah.
the nipples? What are the areolas like? How round are they? What are the shape? This, that, this, that. It's just like, oh, is it big? All right. Is it circumcised? Is it uncircumcised? I feel like there's two questions that women ask. And maybe that's me not knowing, but I feel like those are the two questions.
I feel like women only
they
judge.
ask.
I feel like women only judge dicks that they actually have an opportunity to like play with.
But I do know I've met surprisingly a good amount of women who actually watch gay porn.
So have I. Like on both ends, like both like
Yeah.
male on male porn and woman on woman porn.
Like
Actually,
yeah,
I think Big Cat actually talked about that on the last.
that's who told me. Yeah, she's literally said she says that a couple of times. She was like she likes watching two dudes, and I'm like, all right. And it didn't make sense at me at first, but then I'm like, I like lesbian porn, so I guess it's the same thing for some people.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just don't find men to be sensual.
You know why? You know why, Brandon? Because you are a heterosexual man.
Well, okay, I'm a heterosexual man, and I know there are some men that are sensual. Like, I can look at Chris Hemsworth and be like, yeah, I could see him being sensual.
But I think if you're attracted to men, you're not necessarily heterosexual. Like, and again,
But I'm not
remember, this is me. I
I'm
don't
not
say this.
attracted to men, but I can
Listen,
understand when someone's attractive.
I don't even have like I have a preference. Obviously, I love women. Like I love femininity, right? Like I love the way women smell, the way they look, like their shape, everything. That's what I am attracted to, right? I am not attracted to men like beards and muscles and stuff like that. Like that's not something that gets me off in any way, shape, or form. So I know, but other than that, I don't prescribe like I don't like for me, I don't believe in like sexual orientation. I think you should you fuck who you want to fuck. But if we're gonna go, yeah, but just based on those the old dichotomy, I feel like if you are not just attracted to women, you're not heterosexual. But I don't say that in a negative. I don't say that in any negative context, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying?
It's just there's a difference between. But I agree with you. But I think there's also a difference between finding someone attractive and then be attracted to someone. Like there are
100%.
because like there are people that I know who are attractive, but I am not attracted to them at all. I'm like, wow, you are just a piece of shit, and you are just a hot. I'll censor this out.
Damn it, Wade!
like, you know what I mean? You are just fucking awful as a human being. But I also know, but there are some unattractive people that I've been attracted to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, like I really vibe with you. Like, I think a vibe can be something that makes you attracted. You know what I mean?
Like Shayna Baszler.
Oh, don't get me started on fucking Shayna Baszler, man. Dude, Shayna Baszler and Bailey came out back to back, man. I was at midnight.
This dude said he was at midnight. Yo, straight up. That's how I feel about Nia Jax, and I don't know nothing about wrestling, but oh man, I just want to curl up next to her.
I feel like she's probably like the best cuddler in the world.
Oh man,
like,
and she's tall. Is she tall? She's tall too, huh?
Just better hope she don't have COVID. That's all.
I would risk it.
Super anti-vax.
I would risk it.
Yeah, people turned on her because she was big time anti-vax.
Oh,
whatever.
Javi, she's 6 feet too.
Oh man, snoo.
I feel like she just like she don't be fucking well she be fucking, but I feel like she just like gets home, takes all her clothes off, and just be like, spoon me.
Yo, man.
Also, hold on, before we go, did you see the stuff with Zachary Levi?
Yeah, I sent that to the group chat. Like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Apparently, they went on Twitter. Apparently, on Twitter today, they got clips of him like on Jordan Peterson's show, and apparently he's like a hardcore anti-vaxxer, Trump Christian, crazy person.
Listen, as long as
I
this
had no idea,
bro. Please don't make this affect Shazam. You know what?
Yeah.
I don't. Please.
Exactly what I said. I love that first movie so much.
Please, if they're still contemplating Ezra Miller to be the Flash, this should, man, come on. I'm hoping it's a Chris Pratt situation where it's like not as bad as people think it is.
Yeah,
I'm really hoping this.
Do you see Jordan Peterson's show?
No.
Yo, did you see the tweet, Javi?
No, I'm looking it up right now.
I'm like, what are you, chat, dog?
Bro? I haven't even. Oh no, I'm looking. Oh no.
Here's what I don't understand: how are you that far gone that you don't see how that can mess up your bag?
Yo,
for the
listeners, I should just make this the fucking link image.
His most recent. No.
So someone asked him. So someone asked Zachary Levy, "Do you agree or not that Pfizer is a real danger to the world?" And he put hardcore agree, period, like straight face. And I'm like, all right, maybe he's being sarcastic, but dog, this is one of those moments where you just don't respond.
I can say this now. At
first, I thought it was the left wing thing, right? Because I don't know why I just assumed he was a left wing bro. But at first, I thought he was
He
making
does look
like
like a left wing, bro.
our pharmaceutical companies terrible, which they're pretty terrible in history, like as far as like how they exploit people, charge for medicines, et cetera, right? I thought it was a left wing thing. So I thought it was like, all right, you got to know that this is a bad context to say that if that's your opinion, but I get what you're trying to say. And then I get on Twitter and they're like, oh no, actually, this is who Zachary Levi is. I'm like, and then somebody screenshotted a list of people he follows. There's a bunch of horrible people, and I'm just like, well, what? Why would you do this? Why would you do this?
It hurts. And just for the audience, I could say this now. I'm no longer employed. I quit. Still have a great relationship with a lot of people there. I worked at Pfizer, and nobody there, like, it's very smart people that work there, but they're not that smart to like have some crazy like, I don't know, conspiracy. Like, they're just trying to save lives and make money while they do it. That's really what it is, bro. At the end of the day.
Like, dog, and that's the other thing about it, man. I hate to break this to you, but 90% of the people in the companies that y'all are talking about, the people who work there, one, don't give a shit, or two, don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yo, they're normal ass people, bro.
Oh yeah, the people that work there, yeah.
We're normal.
It's the executives
normal.
that have a problem in all these places.
And honestly, and all the executives care about, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, and I'm talking about the high end executives, is the stock price.
Yeah, but that's what the people are upset about, right? It's like,
yeah,
is your stock price worth charging $120 for an EpiPen, right?
Yeah, that's
that type of
100%.
stuff.
100%. That's 100%. That's 100%
So that's what I thought he was
conversation.
making a point about.
Yeah.
That's what originally when I first saw the tweet, I thought he was a left wing bro, and he was trying to make a point about these pharmaceutical companies are charging out the ass for stuff that should be helping people, right, in America. And then I found out it was the opposite.
Yeah, no, that's bad. I just went through like a quick skim through his Twitter, and it's bad.
Yo, fun fact for you. All you people say that, most of us are quiet quitting. And for the record, quiet quitting was absolutely created by someone who works at a corporation to make people who work for them feel bad.
Yo, that's crazy. It's like, it's bad to do the job you're paid for. Like I'm the type of person, like, I love solving problems. So, but that's my skill set. So I go into a place, and I might have a job description, but I tend to go beyond that because that's just me.
Thanks.
But to say
it's so bad that like people have said to me, well, they're like, yo, Wade, stop doing more than you need to do.
Well, it's fine, and honestly, and if you work at a good place, if you work at a decent place, you'll get promoted, like you'll get bonuses and all that stuff for your hard work if you're fortunate enough to do that. But at the same time, people,
I don't.
Yeah, but that's a whole different story. But for the people that go into work and they go like, this is my job description, this is what I'm getting paid for, they should not be punished or looked bad about because of that, bro. Should we be upset at our jobs for not giving us extra money every week? You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm getting paid, I don't know, $25 an hour, or whatever the average pay is, right? I'm getting paid $25 an hour. So should I be upset that my job isn't, just because giving me like a good $40 an hour here and there? Like, it doesn't work that way. So this whole quiet quitting phenomenon and shit is bullshit, bro. It's the biggest. They're upset because people realize that we're not getting paid our value, and a lot of people with this new economy are starting to leave and finding new options. That's it.
Well, that's the part of the problem.
Exactly. And you know how you fix that? Pay people what they're worth.
Facts.
Don't give billions of dollars in dividends to people who are already millionaires, and you can still give them something, but maybe invest some of that in the people who work there, and maybe they'll stay.
Let's not act like the people who are at these companies who are actually working don't deserve the money that they're getting for keeping a company afloat. So, I am for the corporation when the corporation is doing right by the people.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Well, I forget who Lupe was signed to, Atlantic Records. When he was against Atlantic Records, I was like, yeah, I'm with Lupe on this. Let him put the fucking music out he wants to put out. But
if you're making 100, I'm sorry, good.
But no, I was gonna say, but also I understand the company when it's like, this isn't beneficial to us. So I get both sides of it. But if you're fucking over the artist, that's difference between like, hey, let's come to a mutual understanding, as opposed to F you, we'll just never let you out of our contract.
Yeah. Yo, guys, I have to be out. I apologize.
Thank you for listening, everybody. As always, be excellent to each other. Peace.
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 Damn it, Wade.